We're in Southlake today. It's a beautiful day, as it normally is in the Dallas area. We're in Southlake Town Center, standing in front of City Hall, and we have the privilege of being with Mike McHaney, who has been in the real estate business here. He's a real estate professional, has been here for many, many years, knows this area cold, and he has agreed to show us some real estate today so that we can show the viewers what's going on in Southlake. Mike, how are you today?
Doing good, David.
Good. Well, thank you so much for coming with us. You know, Southlake Town Center is really a marvel. It's filled with restaurants, shops. It's got a great park right in the middle of the center where people can stroll along. Really, nothing quite like this in this whole area.
There really isn't. There was a big need for this when it came into being, and it serves a great purpose for the city of Southlake.
And you know, they've also added some housing here. You know, Southlake doesn't have any, there's no zoning for multifamily housing in Southlake. It's kind of unique, really, in the state of Texas. But they have constructed some, they're not duplexes, they're really
they're condos.
Condominiums. And it's not really multifamily housing, but they are right next to each other.
Yes,
and
yes they are.
You're going to show us kind of what they look like later today too.
You bet.
Okay, super. Well, let's go look at some real estate.
Let's go.
Mike, this is a street that backs up to the Tiburon golf course that you've selected, and tell us a little bit about this house. It's on a street called Strathmore.
Well, David, this house is approximately 6,000 square feet. And like you said, it does back up to Tiburon Golf Course, the 15th green. There's a tremendous pool in the backyard that would be great for the kids. The house is 2-story, has all the amenities and very typical of what you'll find in Tiburon.
It's a great house, great neighborhood, and thanks for reviewing this one with us. Let's go to the next one. Mike, you know, the last place you took me was in Tiburon, and now this one is in Tiburon, and I know enough about Southlake to know that Tiburon's a big swath of Southlake. But what is Tiburon?
David, Tiburon is a planned development that was started by Mobil Oil Company several years back. It really was the first planned community in Southlake. And of course, like you said, Tiburon is a big part of Southlake with the golf course and the community centers and everything that they have to offer the people of Southlake.
And they've almost every development, I think, has its own park and recreation area with tennis courts, and many of them with swimming pools.
They do, they do.
And this house you brought us to on a street called Eagle Bend?
This house, David, is a little over 6,600 square feet. It's a very nice house, 5 bedrooms, 6 baths. David, this home also has a pool in the back, which would make it a great home for a large family with kids.
And you know, the great thing about Southlake is that in riding around and in the touring that you're doing with us, there's really not an old house in Southlake. Everything is relatively new.
Yes, it is. There you can find some areas where they do have some original homes, but they're getting fewer and fewer.
Let's go see the next one. Mike, I'm glad you pulled us over, and you know, this was indicative of the kinds of properties that populated Southlake long before all these new homes arrived. And tell us a little bit about this one.
Well, you're exactly right, David. This house is very indicative of why a lot of people moved to Southlake. It's one of the few places left in this part of North Texas where you can buy multiple acres with the ability to put your own home on there. This home that we're looking at now is it's over 6,100 square feet with 5 bedrooms and 7 baths.
Yeah, and we can barely see it from the street. We're so far away, and I know the viewers won't be able to see it, but they're actually steers. You know, they've got a lake here in front. It's a man-made lake, but they're real steers that are roaming around next to the house and just not up close to us. Mike, you told us to come on up Whitechapel, now on the other side of Southlake Boulevard. And what's this house all about?
Well, David, this house is roughly 5,000 square feet. It's 5 bedrooms and 3 baths, and it kind of represents a little bit different home than what we've looked at so far.
These are smaller houses in here.
Yes, they are.
Mike, you know, in just riding around, we've looked at a lot of Southlake, not all of it, of course, but it's a relatively small place. You know, how many people live here generally?
David, according to the 2010 figures, it was roughly 26,500 people. I think it may be up around 28,000 now.
That's really a very small community, particularly in the Dallas Metroplex. What about the school systems?
School systems are fantastic. That's really what brought a lot of people to this area. Most of the schools, if not all of them, are exemplary. They have some of the finest schools around. The high school has won the state championship in football, I think 8 times. They have a real good program there. But like you said, the schools are just excellent.
Tell us about this house now that we're in front of.
Well, this house belongs to a friend of mine that it's, I think, around 4,500 to 5,000 square feet. Sits on a good-sized lot, half an acre. The backyard does have a very nice pool area that the kids can enjoy.
You know, that's another great thing about Southlake. It's a wonderful family place. I mean, if you're single or if you're just newly married or if you're just living together, it's a great place to live, but it's really a family place. You know, also, it looks like just cruising around, the medical facilities are more than adequate for Southlake, Mike.
We do have some great facilities here, David. Harris Methodist has a facility here along with Baylor in Grapevine, which is on Highway 114. And then we've got the newest addition is the Forest Park Southlake Hospital.
Yeah, that's plenty of medical for an area this size. It must be really, these hospitals must be drawing from the entire region. It was really the airport, I think, that that kind of started this whole area, really got it going.
It did, David. This area really remained a rural area until the completion of DFW International Airport in the 1970s. And due to the close proximity to the airport, Southlake became what was known as a boom-burb throughout the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. And as of 2012, Southlake's population is almost at full capacity with around 27,000 residents.
Yeah, I don't think that there are that many more people that can fit in here, at least very easily. And here we are at these Brownstones. This is a relatively new attraction here. These things have gone up, what, in the last, probably, I don't know, they look brand new, but it probably been 4 or 5 years ago or so, or what?
They were built around 2005, 2006, and they are single family attached with extremely nice appointments on the inside. They're quite a bit larger than they appear from the street. They can be 3,000 to 4,000, 4,500 square feet.
Yeah, the appearance doesn't make them look that large because they are attached, and but as you notice, every single one of them are 3 stories.
Yes, they are.
Well, Mike, you're such a gentleman, and you're so gracious to take your time to give us a tour of Southlake. It's a beautiful city. It's a great day here in the state of Texas. Mike, if people would like to learn more about Southlake, you know, the mid-cities, even, you know, other parts of the entire Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, how do they contact you?
Well, David, probably the easiest way would be through my cell phone. That number is 817-366-7349. And believe me, I keep it on and with me at all times.
Well, great. Well, I'm sure somebody's going to want to know something else about these areas, and I'm sure they'll call you, and thank you again.
Thank you, David.